everybody, I am Dr. Devyani and you are watching Epistasis. So today's this video is the part 3 of the human physiology unit, that is unit 5 of CBSE class 11 biology syllabus, and the chapter heading is excretory product and their elimination. So if you miss part 1 and part 2 of this quick revision of this chapter, so just go and see the part 1 and part 2 of this chapter discussion. So it is a quick revision, so you have to go through all the things from your NCERT book and always consult a reference book for after that. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get into the video. So today we will start from after a part 2 of this video, that is mechanism of concentration of the filtrate, that means the glomerular filtrate. Okay, so in case of mammals, concentrated urine is formed. So this is a unique feature of mammals, जहाँ पे urine जो form होता है, जो filtrate form होता है, उसको concentrate किया जाता है, right? So for to do this, loop of Henle and vasa recta plays very important role. So two important factors are there. Okay, so number one is the flow of the filtrate in the two limbs meant ascending limb and descending limb of loop of Henle and vasa recta. Both in loop of Henle and vasa recta, the flow of filtrate, that means direction of the flow is in opposite direction, right? So direction is opposite. Flow of the filtrate in two limbs of loop of Henle and vasa recta is in opposite direction. First thing is this, and another thing is this, that a close proximity between loop of Henle and vasa recta. So what is vasa recta? In previous video we have described what is vasa recta. It is a very fine blood vessels which is just covering the portion of loop of Henle, and it is just come very close with each other. Okay, so that's why the proximity between loop of Henle and vasa recta, as well as the counter current, that means the opposite flow of direction, opposite direction of the filtrate is called the counter current. In them help to maintain the osmolarity. Okay, so here another thing is very important, that is the increasing osmolarity towards the inner medullary interstitium. We know that loop of Henle is just engraved in between medulla, right? So ascending limb or loop of Henle portion is just goes inside the medullary section, and here osmolarity is maintained as an increasing sequence. That means it is increasing towards the inner medullary interstitium, that is in cortex it is 300 milliosmol per liter, but when it goes inside the inner medulla it will become 1200 milliosmol per liter. So this osmolarity, increasing osmolarity and the counter current, that means opposite direction of the flow of filtrate in the two limbs, is playing important. So these two are important factors, right, for concentrating the urine. Next, this gradient, that means osmolarity, is mainly caused by NaCl and urea transport. Okay, so it is mainly caused by NaCl and urea. So in case of NaCl, what happened? It is transported by ascending limb of loop of Henle. So ascending limb, that means the limb which is goes upward. So loop of Henle, ascending limb of loop of Henle, and it is exchanged with descending limb of vasa recta. Okay, so because loop of Henle and vasa recta is just present very close with each other, the NaCl is transported by ascending limb of loop of Henle, is exchanged with descending limb of vasa recta, and in case of urea, it enters in the through it enters to a thin segment of ascending limb of loop of Henle, and it is transported to the interstitium of collecting duct, CD, that means collecting duct. So these two transportation plays very important role for maintaining the osmolarity gradient, right, that is lower in cortex and higher in inner medulla. Okay, so these two important substances, or the transport of NaCl and urea, is the main cause of maintaining this increasing gradient of osmolarity. Now this transport is facilitated by the spatial arrangement of loop of Henle and vasa recta, and it is called counter current mechanism. So the concentrated urine is mainly formed by this counter current mechanism. So counter current means here it is the flow, the direction of the filtrate is opposite in two limbs of vasa recta and loop of Henle. And here another important thing is osmolarity gradient, which is maintained by NaCl and urea, right? So this mechanism is called counter current mechanism. Now this mechanism is mainly there to help to maintain the concentration gradient in the medullary interstitium. That means a lower concentration in cortex and higher osmolarity inside the inner medulla, and it helps easy passage of water. So what is the main role of this osmolarity gradient? It actually helps the easy passage of water from collecting tubule, because the most of the water is reabsorbed in the portion of collecting tubule, right? So thereby concentrating the filtrate, that means concentrating the filtrate in the form of urine, is actually happen, and human kidneys can produce urine nearly 4 times concentrated than initial filtrate from. So initial filtrate जो glomerular filtration में हुआ था उससे almost 4 times concentrated urine produce होता है. Okay, so this is the figure. Here you can see that this is glomerulus, this is afferent arteriole, and this is efferent arteriole. Okay, and it is it is enclosed within Bioman's capsule. Now this is PCT. So this portion is PCT. It is present in the cortex of the kidney, and this is medulla. So this is outer medulla, this dotted line, so this dotted line, and this is inner medulla. Now when loop of Henle starts, so this is descending limb of loop of Henle, and this is ascending limb of loop of Henle. So inside, so in cortex, the osmolarity is 300, and as it goes down in the descending limb, just see it will now 400, then 600, 800, 1000, and 1200 at the end of this loop of Henle. Okay, and we know that this descending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to water, so that's why water is just reabsorbed in this portion, but it is impermeable to electrolyte, right? So that's why the urine will become concentrated, the filter will become concentrated as it goes down. But in case of ascending limb, so it is the ascending limb, and here again the exchange of or permeability of electrolyte it happens. So in case of ascending limb, यहाँ पे बहुत कम ही reabsorption होता है. This ascending limb plays very important role in maintaining the osmolarity. Okay, so यहाँ पे NaCl का reabsorption हो रहा है, and this NaCl is goes to the, so this U is mainly vasa recta, and this is its descending limb, and this is its ascending limb. So this ascending limb से जो NaCl absorb होके आ रहा है वो vasa recta के descending limb के अंदर जाता है, right? So this is the first NaCl thing, and now it goes up and come to the cortex region. Its osmolarity is again 300. Okay, so this is how it maintains its osmolarity. It is mainly through the ascending limb of loop of Henle, and यहाँ पे जो NaCl है उसका भी रोल प्ले करता है osmolarity मेंटेन में, जो reabsorb हो जाता है NaCl, and it is again goes to the descending limb of vasa recta. Now it goes up and finally it come to collecting duct. So collecting duct में water का reabsorption सबसे ज़्यादा होता है. So here this much of water is reabsorbed, and another important thing is urea is reabsorbed from the filtrate to the interstitium of the medulla. Okay, for maintaining the osmolarity. Right, so NaCl and urea transportation is mainly helping to maintain the osmolarity. This osmolarity gradient, why it is called gradient? Because it is lower in case of cortex and higher as it goes down to medulla. Okay, so this is counter current mechanism, and यहाँ पे जब जो descending limb of loop of descending limb of vasa recta में जो NaCl जा रहा था, वो जब असेंडिंग लिम्ब में आता है. सो नेक्स्ट इस ये NaCl भी यहाँ से रीअब्सॉर्ब होकर इंटरस्टिशियम में, मेडुलरी इंटरस्टिशियम में आ जाता है. सो दिस वासा रेक्टा एंड लूप ऑफ फिनली इज देयर टू मेंटेन counter current. So here counter current, that means the opposite direction of the flow of the filtrate happens. And another important thing, to osmolarity gradient होता है जो NaCl and urea जिसको maintain करता है. So these two things is combined and finally it helps to reabsorb maximum amount of water from reabsorbed from कलेक्टिंग डक्ट. सो वाटर ज्यादा रीअब्सॉर्ब हो जाएगा तो सारे दूसरे नाइट्रोजनस वेस्ट एंड दूसरे थिंग्स यूरिन में रहेंगे. सो दैट मीन्स इट विल नाउ कंसंट्रेटेड. ओके, सो दिस इज द मैकेनिज्म. यहाँ पे दो इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर्स हैं. नंबर 1 इज वासा रेक्टा एंड लूप ऑफ फिनली बहुत क्लोजली रहते हैं एंड यहाँ पे ऑस्मोलाइटिक ग्रेडियंट मेंटेन करते हैं. नंबर 2 इज the flow of the filtrate is in opposite direction into the limbs of loop of Henle and Vassar. So that is all about counter current mechanism. Now come to the regulation of kidney function. So kidney का जो भी function है, it is mainly regulated and monitored and regulated by hormonal feedback mechanism. So ये बहुत important एक mechanism है, hormonal feedback mechanism, जो hormone वाले chapter में हम बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे. It is mainly involves hypothalamus, JGA, that means juxtaglomerular apparatus, जिसके बारे में हमने previous जो भी videos है उसमें बताया है, and to a certain effect of heart. So इसमें hypothalamus, JGA and heart involved होता है. So what happens? Any change in body fluid volume or ionic concentration or blood volume or excessive loss of fluid, all of these factors can activate osmoreceptors. So there are some receptors present and they are called osmoreceptors. So any change in body fluid, ionic concentration, blood volume or excessive loss of fluid, all these can activate osmoreceptors, and this activation of osmoreceptor finally stimulate hypothalamus, right? And hypothalamus release एंटी-डाईयूरेटिक हार्मोन और वेसोप्रेसिन. सो दोनों एक ही हार्मोन है, एंटी-डाईयूरेटिक हार्मोन और ADH और वेसोप्रेसिन फ्रॉम न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस. न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस इज अ पोर्शन ऑफ पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड. पिट्यूटरी ग्लैंड हैज टू पोर्शन, न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस एंड एडिनोहाइपोफाइसिस. वहां के जो न्यूरोहाइपोफाइसिस पोर्शन है वहां से ADH और वेसोप्रेसिन रिलीज होता है and this ADH facilitates water reabsorption from the latter part of the tubule, that means DCT and collecting duct, and thereby preventing diuresis. Diuresis में मतलब जहाँ पे यूरिन में वाटर की कंसेंट्रेशन बहुत ज्यादा होती है एंड वो लिक्विड डाइल्यूटेड हो जाते हैं. सो ये चीज को हम ये कंडीशन को हम डाययूरेसिस बोलते हैं. इसको प्रिवेंट करता है, राइट. सो ADH फैसिलिटेट वाटर ज्यादा से ज्यादा रीअब्सॉर्ब होंगे लैटर पार्ट ऑफ द ट्यूब्यूल एंड प्रिवेंट डाययूरेसिस एंड इट इंक्रीजेस बॉडी फ्लूइड वॉल्यूम बिकॉज वाटर को हम जाने नहीं दे रहे, उसको रिटेन कर रहे हैं. सो बॉडी फ्लूइड वॉल्यूम बढ़ जाएगा, right? So this is first, but when this increase in body fluid volume होता है, ये फाइनली ऑस्मोरिसेप्टर्स को शट डाउन कर देता है, डीएक्टिवेट कर देता है. सो डीएक्टिवेशन ऑफ ऑस्मोरिसेप्टर्स फाइनली गिव द सिग्नल टू hypothalamus not to release anti-diuretic hormone from neurohypophysis. Okay, so this is called feedback mechanism. Finally, जब जो हमारा चीज था body fluid volume घट गया था वो increase हो गया है. So it only give the signals to osmoreceptor not to release more ADH hormone from neurohypophysis. So this is called फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म ऑफ हार्मोन, जिसको हम हार्मोन वाले चैप्टर में बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे. नेक्स्ट और एक काम करता है ADH. सो फर्स्ट इज टू फैसिलिटेट वाटर रीअब्जॉर्प्शन. ओके, अनदर इज ADH again affect kidney function by its constrictory effect on blood vessels. सो ब्लड वेसल्स को कॉन्स्ट्रिक्ट करता है. ब्लड वेसल्स कॉन्स्ट्रिक्ट होगा तो जिसका लुमेन का वॉल्यूम कम हो जाएगा एंड इट इंक्रीजेस ब्लड प्रेशर. right? So if blood pressure is increases, then it also increase the glomerular blood flow, right? And thereby increasing glomerular filtration rate. Glomerulus में blood flow ज़्यादा होगा तो filtration भी ज़्यादा होगा. So it is another way to control the kidney function of through ADH. So ADH दो तरह से काम करता है. Number one, to reabsorption of water को facilitate करता है, and number two, it also works as a vasoconstrictor. जो vessels को constrict करता है, those elements are called vasoconstrictor, right? Again, JGA, so this is the part of hypothalamus, role of hypothalamus. Again, another important role play करता है JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus, and it plays a complex regulatory role. इसके बारे में हम पहले कुछ पहले वाले वीडियो के पार्ट में भी पढ़ा था. तो any fall in GFR, that means glomerular filtration rate or blood pressure, activates juxtaglomerular cells and it releases a hormone called renin. Now renin क्या करता है? It convert and angiotensinogen जो रहता है ब्लड में, angiotensinogen inactivated होता है, इसको कन्वर्ट कर देता है angiotensin 1, then from angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, and it is also a vasoconstrictor. तो यहाँ पे ADH के साथ, इसके बाद से ADH के साथ इसका रोल सेम है. Okay, so mainly any fall in GFR or BP activate JG cells, that means juxtaglomerular cells. It release renin and it converts angiotensinogen in blood to angiotensin 1 and from there to angiotensin 2, and it also plays angiotensin 2 plays a role like vasoconstrictor. So it is a vasoconstrictor. It again increases glomerular BP and thereby GFR, and finally flow increase होगा, glomerular filtration rate increase होगा, and the same other things are same, right? Now in another role of angiotensin 2, it activates adrenal cortex. ये adrenal gland के जो cortex वाले portion है उसको activate करके वहां से दूसरा एक hormone release करवाता है, that is aldosterone. So बहुत सारे ज़्यादा hormones यहाँ पे involved है. Another one is aldosterone. It also reabsorbs sodium ion and water from the distal DCT and from the distal part, that means DCT, okay, of the tubule, and it also increases blood pressure and GFR. Okay, so कितने सारे hormone हैं? Hormone 1 is anti-diuretic hormone or ADH or vasopressin, right? Number 2 is renin and number 3 is aldosterone, right? And all of them can finally increase the glomerular filtration rate and also increase the BP. So this mechanism is called renin-angiotensin mechanism, जहाँ पे रेनिन हार्मोन एंजियोटेंसिनोजेन से एंजियोटेंसिन 2 फॉर्म करता है, which is a vasoconstrictor, and it increases glomerular blood flow and finally glomerular filtration rate. And it also activates adrenal cortex to release aldosterone, which again reabsorbs sodium ion and water from distal part of the tubule and finally increases BP and GFR, right? So till then hypothalamus and JGA दोनों ही blood pressure and GFR को increase करने में help करता है. Now there is another mechanism called ANF mechanism, just to check the renin angiotensin mechanism. Okay, so जब कोई ज़्यादा blood flow या increase in the blood flow of the artery of heart बढ़ जाता है, that means BP ज़्यादा हो जाती है, बढ़ जाती है, तब it release atrial natriuretic factor ANF, atrial natriuretic factor ANF, and it can cause vasodilation. So it is a vasodilator. Vasoconstrictors कौन है? Number 1 is ADH and number 2 is angiotensin 2. Okay, and vasodilator, that means it dilate कर देता है vessels को, blood vessels को. It is ANF, atrial natriuretic factor, and it can cause vasodilation, which decreases the blood flow, blood pressure, right? So that's why this ANF mechanism is there to check the renin angiotensin mechanism. Okay, so हमें जो kidney functions के जो पोर्शंस है उसमें हमें हार्मोनल फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म पढ़ना है फ्रॉम ADH हार्मोन के थ्रू, राइट? नंबर 2 JGA juxtaglomeralular apparatus कैसे कंट्रोल करता है ये पढ़ना है. एंड नंबर 3 ANF mechanism पढ़ना है. Okay, so these three mechanism will finally control kidney functions, right? So this is all about this part. Only a small portion of this chapter is left, so I will discuss it in the next part of this video, that is part 4. And if you like this version, please do subscribe to Epistasis, share it among your friends, and also see the next part of this video. Till then, take care and bye bye.